You ever wonder why Christians are anti-gay? Well, here's a Christian who tries to explain.
Leviticus 18 verse 22. You shall not lie with a male as with a woman. It is an abomination. Leviticus 20 verse 13. If a man lies with a male as with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination.
Listen, if you're a Christian and you want to say that you can't support homosexuality because of what Leviticus says, then you're gonna have to start following all of the other retarded rules in Leviticus as well. Otherwise, you're just being gigantic hypocrites. There's plenty of other homophobic shit in the Bible you can quote. Stop quoting from the section that you otherwise completely ignore. So what would you do if somebody confided in you that they were gay?
When this person built up the courage to be real with me about this issue, it was so unexpected, but I knew for a split second I was feeling what Jesus feels towards people who are struggling with this. It was pure, unutterable love and concern. Not the love that pats on the back and says it's all good. It was the love that seeks to reform.
In other words, condescending love, the kind of love that you would have for a misbehaving child rather than for an adult who is capable of making their own decisions. The kind of love that's completely devoid of respect.
Today people believe that if you were born or grew up having same-sex feelings, that somehow or in some way it justifies the practice.
I actually sort of agree with this criticism. I don't believe that being born gay is what justifies homosexuality. I think it is irrelevant whether people are or are not born gay. In my opinion, even if being gay were a choice, it would still not be a valid basis for discrimination or persecution. The justification for homosexuality is that what consenting adults choose to do with one another is nobody else's business. If two or more consenting adults choose to engage in a romantic or sexual relationship, that's none of your beeswax. Any opinion you have about it is irrelevant. If you voice disagreement with something about which your opinion is irrelevant, all you're doing is being a dick. And you shouldn't be shocked and dismayed when people call you out for being a dick.
Whether we like it or not, there was a time when homosexuality was not okay. We have to ask ourselves, are we going to reach a place in time where pedophilia or molestation will be justified? Whoa, hold up. Homosexuality is different. It's not hurting anyone. Not hurting anyone? In 2005, according to the Joint United Nations Program on AIDS and the CDC, in San Francisco, 90% of all new AIDS infections are among men who have sex with men.
Irrelevant. Diseases are never the result of homosexuality per se. Gay sex is no more dangerous than straight sex if you take the right precautions. There is nothing inherently dangerous about sex between people of the same gender, especially if it's monogamous and only involves manual, oral, and intercrural sex. In fact, because you don't have to worry about the health risks associated with pregnancy, gay sex can be even safer than straight sex. The difference between homosexuality and all of your other slippery slope bullshit examples is that homosexuality is consensual. Molestation is not. Violence is not. Slippery slope arguments only make sense when there's no clear distinction between permitting one thing and permitting much worse things. That is not the case here. There is a clear line between homosexuality and molestation and all that other crap, and that line is consent.
I don't care what mainstream psychology is saying. We know who their sponsors are.
Who are their sponsors? What huge corporations stand to gain monetarily from the idea that homosexuality is not a disease? The American Psychiatric Association declassified homosexuality as a disease in 1973. What huge and powerful gay rights lobby groups existed in 1973? And how did they get so much money that they were able to bribe the APA into declassifying homosexuality? How is it that since then they've been able to manipulate nearly every medical organization in the developed world into saying that homosexuality is not a disease if that's not what they really believe? Where did gays get that much power? I think it's very telling that the main argument for why we shouldn't listen to mainstream medical opinion about homosexuality is based on the apparent belief that the gay rights lobby has this Illuminati Elders of Zion-like control over the mainstream medical establishment.